Good afternoon, family, and welcome back to another episode of GodSpeed, where we provide you a weekly market overview for the Lexus LC500. All right, family, this week we review my 3 favorite opportunities that could be your pathway to exploring this world-class, prestigious luxury coupe. We have a new $59,000 performance package opportunity coming from Porsche of West Houston, a more rare autumn Shimmer with only 36,000 miles, and finally a 13,000 mile performance package, L certified, for $65,000. All right, family, I want to personally thank each and every one of you for your support. Guys, here at GodSpeed, we are stepping into a new season, and I can't wait to share and get back your feedback on the amazing experience we've got lined up for you. Let's get into tonight's episode, but before we do, please do subscribe to the channel. Let's go. Family, let's get into tonight's lineup. So out of the gate, family, I'm super excited about this 2018. Let's take a look at some pictures on it. Obviously, we've got a gorgeous liquid platinum exterior on this bad boy, right? We have done the blackout wheels on this one. So you guys know that in 2018, that was not an option available from the factory. So this has absolutely been done aftermarket. That does not take any away from it, right? In some cases, what we find is that the aftermarket blacks tend to be a little bit glossier in some cases. Now, I don't know what how they will hold up over time, however, but that's just an area for you to inspect at a little bit closer area when you go to take a look at this one up close and personal, right? We've got the tint on this one. Now, looking right here, they actually look really good, right? We've got some Bridgestones on there, Potenzas, which, again, guys, it's so hard to tell from the pictures, like what the tread wear or how much life we have on these tires, but always make sure you measure that out, especially when we're working with a used opportunity, because we know that these tires are $2,000 to $3,000. So we'll definitely want to, where necessary, we'll want to negotiate with the dealer to try to at least get dealer price, if not some coverage on a replacement set of tires, right? We go to the inside, family, and we've got this beautiful black interior. This is a performance package, which I'm super excited about because, family, we've got one of our lowest price vehicles in the market, period, right? There's a couple 55s out there, but they don't stack up quite like this one does, right? So when you see a sub $60,000 LC500, guys, there's a couple things that just makes that thing that much more desirable, and this performance package is absolutely one of them, okay? So we've got the sport seats with the Alcantara inserts on this one. Black is the color of choice for this one in particular. Guys, you know we've got the CarPlay probably already installed by this point, right? If unfortunately you're on Android, no such luck on this one, at least from the dealership, until we step into the 2019s, okay? All right, 47,000 miles on this one. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the deets. But, you know, with this being a 6-year-old vehicle, that is still very much underneath the 10,000 miles per year allotment, okay? All right, let's look at the deets on this one. Let me see if they're going to show us anything on the top. Nope. Okay, but guys, just keep in mind, we didn't get a chance to look at them, but obviously this one has the carbon fiber top on it, right? It's also got the carbon fiber seals, and it's got the retractable spoiler, okay? One thing I want to call out is when you get in person, I want you to take a look at this. You know, we can see some shading right here, okay, family? See the shading right there on that grill support? Do me a favor, make sure that that is just the camera here and that's not how it translates in person. If it does, then I want you to, ask yourself the question, hey, is that bothering you visually? Okay. And if it is, family, I want you to partner with the dealership out here, Porsche, to get that remedied. Okay. Now, more than likely it is, you know what? I don't even want to speculate on what it is, right? It could be anything from they resprayed the front of this grill, or bumper rather. They resprayed the front bumper to make sure that it got the best appearance possible, which we see several owners, private owners, do this just because, you know, Sometimes these front bumpers obviously take a bit of a, a hit from debris in the roadway and stuff like that. And, they didn't take the bumper off when they did that, all the way to when they actually took the bumper off to spray it, but when they went to put it back on, they didn't put that little shield back on there, and so now you can see a little bit more of that support than you should see. Okay, either way, I'm just giving you a heads up, right? I see it right there. I want to make sure that when you get this bad boy home, you don't notice something that you didn't notice because you were super excited about the opportunity at the dealership. Okay, let's look at the deets. We already talked about 47,000 miles. That's underneath. That's 13,000 underneath our average of 10,000 miles a year. So that would be 60 to 70, depending on whether you look at a 17 delivery and count that or not. But definitely underneath average miles on this guy. All right. When we look at the accidents, none to be reported, and 3 previous owners, right? I'm going to jump out here real quick to the actual dealership, right? So this is Porsche West Houston. Obviously, this is in Texas. And I love going out here directly to the website because sometimes we see a slight change in price. We don't see that here in this particular case, but it's always nice to just kind of check that box, right? Because sometimes they'll provide folks a little bit of extra incentive. I've seen them do it either through some of the external sites, or they'll give folks a little bit lower price sometimes on their own personal site. So it's always good to check that out. The other reason we like to jump out here, right, is because of the Carfax. Okay. So let's take a quick look at the Carfax on this one, right? Because, we got a couple amazing attributes for this vehicle right now. We've got a beautiful 2018, got a great color combo, right? We've got something that's got underneath the average miles, and we've got one of the lowest price points on the market. Now let's see how we validate the value in this vehicle at that price point, okay? And that's one of the reasons we come out here. We come out here to the Carfax for 2 major reasons. One, to make sure we can understand as much as possible of the history of the vehicle, particularly if there's any accidents that have been posted. We want to see if those accidents are, minor or major, okay? The other piece of it, family, which is extremely important, is where possible, we want to come out here and see what we can gather from the services that have been done to the vehicle, because that tells a bit of the story or the life of this particular car. Okay. So when we come out here, we see obviously this has been a Texas vehicle from day one. First owner, Houston, Texas. We've got 5,000 mile service right here. We've got 10,000 mile service, 15,000 mile service, 20,000 mile service, 4 tires replaced at 17,000. Okay. So we are, let me just remind myself, what are we looking at from a mileage perspective? 47,000. Okay. So at 17,000, we had the tires completely replaced on this one. Let's see if that's the last time tires were done, or if we've got another set put on between now and then. Okay. All right, we got brake pads replaced and alignment performed. That's always nice. So brake pads done at 21,000 miles. We got the 25,000 mile service. Again, family, all this is coming from the Lexus dealership. Got 1 tire replaced right here. Because it's single tire. Nope, there's another tire replaced. It looks like about a month later. That could be the rear tires, right? Somebody's having fun in the car, enjoying it, right? We know those rear tires are going to wear on us, okay? So now we've got 2 rear tires replaced at 27. And again, I'm speculating on the rear, family. I can't 100% pinpoint that, but just me knowing about these vehicles and the usage, the rear tires, and it being a rear wheel drive vehicle, right? Rear tires are the ones that are primarily going to wear. Keep in mind too, because this is staggered fitment, right? We don't get that rotation luxury that some vehicles that don't have a staggered fitment get, right? And trust me, I'd give that up every day of the week for the stance and the aggressiveness that we get from a staggered setup. Okay. Second owner takes purchase of it, family. Then we've got, now here's something that I really want to call out, because we haven't had a chance to see this on many Carfax reports, but we talk about it at length because, in 2020, I think we saw a tremendous spike, not just for the LC500s, but in general for exterior paint protection, right? The fact that we've got this one on the actual Carfax lends me to believe that this is probably more of an investment than, your $250, $500 paint protection piece on it. The other thing you got to take into note too is that traditionally companies don't just do a paint protection, right? They first do a paint correction, which is always a beautiful opportunity when you get that, because this vehicle had been on the road for 3 years. And then we know that in August, right, we had a paint protection done, or well, a paint correction done to it. And then we had the paint protection done to it. And, you know, that was 3 years ago. Okay. Definitely if I'm you, right. And I know we've got a friend of the channel who's actually looking at this vehicle. So Jose, if you're actually going out there and you're going to take a look at this vehicle, right, I think from what we looked at so far, this really puts you in a good standing to feel confident that you've got yourself a tremendous opportunity. If I'm you, I'm going to take a look or even give a call out here to System X Certified Installer. And let's just see, you know, how much they can tell us about what they performed on this vehicle, right? That's just going to give you that much more information. Okay. All right. What else we got here, right, guys? We got 2 tires replaced here in 23. Now that could be the front tires, okay, or the rear tires. But I think what we can tell here is that we've obviously had tires replaced throughout the life, and as late as what? Remind me again what we got on the mileage on this one, 47,000 miles. So, you know, this one's probably 7,000 miles ago at the most. We've got 2 tires already been replaced on this one. Okay. What I am thinking too, right, is that you're probably going to see some wear variation. So definitely take a look at both the rears and the fronts and look at and inspect those from edge to edge. Okay. All right. And then, of course, in 2023, we get this bad boy taken in from Northside Lexus. They offer it as a L certified vehicle, right? Remember, it's at Porsche right now, but roughly about this time last year, well, almost this time last year, right? Lexus brings this in, they certify it. They do the 30, 35, and 40,000 mile services on this. They replace the batteries, and we get 2 more tires replaced. So, family, this could very well have all 4 tires with less than 7,000, let's just call it that, right, for conservative reasons, with less than 7,000 miles on all 4 tires, which means that you're not going to have to worry about the tires on this bad boy. And remember that 30,000 mile service is where we absolutely get some of the flushes and things of that nature that cause us to have a little bit more pricey of a perform service. So the fact that they did that, got your oil change, battery replaced, 2 new tires, really love to see that, okay? And then it was sold, and then, of course, you know, here we get it right now where Lexus has done the 45,000 mile service, all right? And let's see if they've changed anything. A blower motor replaced. I'm not familiar with that one, guys. If anybody has any insight on what that blower motor is, then absolutely chime in in the chat. Would love to get some more information on that. I'll do a little bit of research myself. Okay. But then we get this vehicle, you know, serviced, did the 45,000 mile service about 3,000 miles ago. And I'm pretty sure that Porsche in West Houston probably went ahead and did another oil change on this guy. So you can definitely check that out. But here's what I'm seeing on this one, right? Particularly Jose, man, I'm seeing a tremendous vehicle with a tremendous price. Again, we always talk about this, right? Just because the starting price is at a good point, there's always going to be a few additional dealer fees that they're going to probably tack on. And so it behooves you to go in, you know what I'm saying, with a stance of, I'm not 100% sold. I still need a little bit of break on either get rid of those dealer fees or give me a break on the sales price. Either way to try to get this vehicle down just a little bit extra, right? And then, of course, you got to drop on tax, tag, and title, okay? But we've got a great-looking vehicle that's been certified, 0 accidents, light ownership on this one with the 3 owners. And we got a beautiful service record that, guys, I don't think it gets much better than that. Also, that service record helps us understand that we got a lot of stuff that's been replaced here. So, again, guys, I think we got several boxes here that we've been able to check. This is going to potentially be a tremendous opportunity for someone who's looking to get in under that sub 60 price point. All right, family. Next one up, guys, is one that I'm excited about, particularly because I love it when we get these, somewhat rare, right, colors on the market right now. The autumn shimmer is absolutely one of those colors. Now, it's not rare in the sense of structural blue, right? It's not rare in the sense of flare yellow or any of those, colors like that, but it's a lower production color, and we just don't see this one. I mean, we definitely see them. I mean, if you've been following the channel, you've seen the autumn shimmers out here, but man, this one's just a beautiful color that, is definitely less production than your whites, your blacks, and things of that nature, okay? All right, let's look at some of the pictures on this one. Like, I mean, again, this color is just absolutely gorgeous. Love how this thing shines. I love the fact that you get kind of a darker appearance from this, but it's got a lot of personality and character, almost like one of those chameleon paint jobs, right? But man, this thing looks to be pristine. I don't see any issues with it at all. Okay, I love that this one's got no tint on it, right? So for you folks out there who really appreciate a car just in its natural state, right? This one's got no tint on it. So if you want to keep it that way, perfectly free to do so, right? What I'm also loving too, guys, is we look like we got that OEM carbon fiber spoiler on the back. Guys, double check that one for me. For some reason, I don't know if it's the angle. Looks like that one's sticking up just a little bit higher, but it doesn't appear to be the carbon addict one though. So double check that one, right? But the wheels look to be impeccable shape. Either way you go, that's a very tasteful and desirable mod right there. If it's from the dealer, it's even more valuable and desired, okay? Here's something too that I didn't notice until now. I'm going to sneak back up here, right? If you guys notice, look at the calipers, right? We've got these calipers actually done in somewhat of a close color match to the shimmer autumn, or the autumn shimmer, right? I think that's tasteful and it's unique. I've never seen the autumn shimmer with somewhat of a matching caliper, and I really like this personally. I always like, as much as I'm grateful that Lexus blacks out the calipers and it's not just that material or metal look, I just feel like because we've already got black within the elements of the wheel, if you can get a color that's not black and it's not aluminum for the actual caliper, man, not only does it make a nice subtle difference when the car is sitting, but when those wheels start to spin, man, you can absolutely see the difference because you've got this highlighted color in the background. Here's something too that we touched on last week, right? And I apologize, guys. I kept calling the wheels polished. What I was trying to say is that these are aluminum wheels, which will require polishing at certain intervals of its life in order to still get that amazing luster out of this wheel, okay? All right, when we go to the back, right, nothing's been touched on this one. Everything looks to be clean. I always look for those little subtle indications like down here to see how much, do we have from just, the wear and use of the vehicle, right? When these are pretty clean like they come across right now, it just means that more than likely the owner took the time to ensure that this vehicle was cleaned and didn't just stand dirty over a long period of time, okay? There's a better picture of the colored calipers right there. Again, love that, right? When we jump to the inside, family, we've got amazing toasted caramel interior, right? This is a sports package, so we get those sport seats in there. Guys, I'm looking at this kick plate right here, and my goodness, it looks exceptionally clean. And by that, I mean it doesn't look heavily scratched up, right? If you've listened to the channel, you know that sometimes, we do see scratches on those. The leather looks to be impeccable, specifically the steering wheel. You guys recall, right? The steering wheel on the light ones and the shift knobs on these lighter interiors can sometimes get beat up by rings and just, sun, et cetera, on this one. But look, there's another photo of how shiny this looks. This thing looks to be absolutely impeccable. 36,000 miles, family. So, we've got almost less than half of the average miles that we would expect on a vehicle like this right here. Again, this one's look nice and clean and shiny right here on all of the components, right? Which helps me to understand that, guys, probably if the owner didn't clean this bad boy, we had a professional detailer probably doing it. I mean, look at the meticulous. Look how everything is absolutely in pristine condition, right? Love to see this Alcantara again, guys. You know, if somebody is not taking good care of the Alcantara on the doors, that's another area where sometimes I see a bit more wear than I'd like to, right? But that's not the case in this one. Looks impeccable. There's that beautiful shade on the top, right? That's an Alcantara top with the pullback shade so you can get a little bit more light in that cockpit or cabin. There it is right there. Right, guys, all the stuff looks to be good on this one. Let's take a look at the details to see if we can understand just that much more about the vehicle. Now, one thing I do want to call out, I do not see, is that okay, they just wrapped in plastic. So because of that, it didn't seem like they had the floor covers on there, but I do believe that's the floor covers. But yeah, everything looks to be really good here. And there's even a more close-up picture of that autumn shimmer, kind of like a racing gold color, which probably matches the autumn shimmer when the light hits it, right? Also, looked like there's a little bit of protection on this vehicle. This could be like one of the Lexus offered protections on the front bumper and the top of that hood. Definitely check that out. Right there, see a little bit of, scratching, but that could be just because somebody forgot to wipe off some wax or something like that. Tires look to be in really good shape on this one. Let's look at the deets, right? 36,000 miles, well underneath the average for this vehicle. $63,980, and that is an extremely competitive price for a sports package 2018, especially when we think about all the extra goodies that we're getting for this particular one, right? Now this one's coming from Auto Trader, so guess what, guys? I'm going to jump out here to the dealer again, right? Coming from Sunset Volkswagen in Sarasota, Florida. So this one's a Florida vehicle, at least being presented to us, right? Showing as a good value already as well. Let's take a quick look at the Carfax right here. We can access it by hitting that link. And then let's get to understand a little bit more about this. No accidents, love that. 2 previous owners, okay? All right, and let's see now if we can find a little bit about the service on this one. So it looks to be an original Florida car. Right, when we look at this, we've got brakes checked, all that good stuff. 5,000 mile service performed at 5,000 miles. Front brake pads replaced, rear brake pads replaced. Yeah, let's face it, guys, that's probably to go from the sports pads to the more economical pads that tend not to squeak as much, okay? Right here, we've got Lexus Sarasota, probably just, incorrectly keyed that in, but that clearly looks to be the 10,000 mile service. Even if they did perform a 5,000 mile service, right? Nothing big happening from 5 to 10,000 miles, just your oil change, checking your fluids and all that good stuff. Okay. Now at 17,000 miles, we get the 15,000 mile service done. We get some batteries replaced, oil change, filter done. 20,000 mile service performed on this bad boy. Let me go back real quick, just double check, make sure I understand my mileage on this one. Did we talk about, I think it's 18,000 miles. I'll confirm that here in just a second. 36,000, sorry. 36,000 miles on this one, okay? So let me look real quick at that Carfax again. So, okay, 20,000 mile service done. The fuel pump replaced on this one at 23. Haven't really heard anything about the, challenges or issues with the fuel pump. With the exception that some folks would love, I guess an oil cooler, right? But that could have just been, sometimes you get an opportunity to form a relationship with folks, and if there's something that's that's not working to your expectation, you just don't have to fight as hard to get things swapped out. Okay. And of course it was still under warranty, so no issues getting that done. All right, we've got 4 wheel alignment, 4 tires mounted at 25. So guys, that's let's say 11,000 miles ago. So I don't anticipate, the condition of the tires to be crazy. I think at the very least, right? Well, I won't say the very least. I would say average, we're probably getting about 20,000 miles on the tires. So at the worst case scenario, right, you might still have at least, half tread on these tires, if not more. All depends on how the vehicle was driven. Okay. But I love that we've got, new tires in the last 11,000 miles. Okay. All right. This vehicle was sold as a L certified vehicle. Okay. And then the second owner picked it up. We've got some windshield wiper replacements here. We've got floor mats checked. The door weather strip replaced. Okay. May have just been hearing a little bit of sound that they didn't like on that one. So they got that replaced. 30,000 miles service done on this vehicle. The front seat cover replaced. It'd be interesting to look into that one, guys. Front seat covers. So, I don't know if that means that they took the front seat. You know what? Let me go back to that vehicle real quick. Because if I'm not mistaken, hang tight. I can't tell if it was this one or the other one we were looking at. Yeah, so you guys recall now. Traditionally, I see this in the convertible, right? But if you guys recall, these little imprints right here are sometimes form in the seats of the LC500. And I do know that individuals were absolutely getting some seat swaps because of that, and it was covered under warranty. There it is again, right? I think with a light interior like this right here, I don't think this is something that would cause me any concern or heartburn. But if they ended up getting it, or maybe the leather was not, handling the way that they wanted to, and they were able to get a replacement, I think that's just more for, the potential owner of this one. What else we got here, guys? I don't think we're going to get, okay, here we go right here. We've got another, oil change. Even though Lexus didn't call this a 35,000 mile service like we see on the other ones, right? Here's a couple things to call out, right? Number one, it was done at the Lexus dealership. Number two, right? It looks like it's got all of the 30,000 mile or 35,000 mile stuff done to it. Okay. So I think that's a check in your box. And then more than likely, right? Suncoast Motorsports Porsche probably did an oil change on this bad boy, even though it definitely didn't need it. But typically that's just something they do in order to prep it and get it ready for sale. All right. Long story short, right, guys, we got another tremendous Carfax report that's full of goodies that help us understand when tires were done, how long it's been for the brakes, as well as all the services that were done on this one, right? So if you're looking for, a beautiful, more rare color on these vehicles, and definitely a beautiful color combination, right? We've got calipers done on this one. We got the OEM carbon fiber spoiler. You know what? If I can get one last look at that front bumper. No, that doesn't. No, definitely not. Okay, I like to, sometimes I double check whenever we got the OEM carbon fiber spoiler done on this one. I like to double check and see if we got that lower grill insert carbon fiber as well, because that just adds more value. But family, tremendous opportunity right here at $63,980, right? Again, any opportunities that we have to actually get a lower price on this bad boy that would absorb some of those dealer fees that we sometimes see, absolutely go for it. This one, because it was certified just a short while ago, family, sometimes you don't, well, I'm sorry, I said certified, but I mean maintenance, right? Let me double check. Yeah, I mean maintenance, right? Since it was maintenance and it was certified in the first owner. So sold as a certified vehicle to the second owner, but that was back in 21. So yeah, let me stand corrected. Let me clarify here. Still think, again, $63,000, a considerable investment in a vehicle that you want to purchase. Guys, I still say take this bad boy over to the Lexus dealership. Same thing with that first one, right, Jose? If you've got the opportunity, man, take that bad boy over to the Lexus dealership. They're going to charge you a couple $100s to inspect it from, bumper to bumper, but that's going to give you just that much more peace of mind. Now, with all that being said, what we can see from the due diligence that we performed already, we've got some tremendous opportunities on this one as well. Family, last but not least, guys, we've got a gorgeous offering, and this one's kind of checking all the boxes, right? Okay, so what do we have here? A 2018 Smoky Granite Mica performance package, right? Okay, and this one's exceptional because it's got some goodies that man, we don't get to see so much in this price point, and it absolutely adds tremendous value on this one, right? So again, we've got the performance package on this one. There's that retractable spoiler. Got that Smoky Granite Mica, which is just a beautiful darker gray color for this vehicle. No tint on the windows, so you can do what you want on that one. Super clean exhaust tips down here. Loving everything from that perspective. Guys, 21-inch wheels look to be exceptional. There's that gorgeous black interior on this one. Again, guys, look at the wear and tear. I don't see any wear and tear imprints on this one, which we always have to take another look at whenever we're looking at some of the darker material, right? There's that carbon fiber. See a little bit right there, family, but, you know, inspect this one upon, you know, arrival at the dealership. But this looks to be in good shape as well, which is what I would expect, especially once we get over here to the mileage. Back seat doesn't even look to be touched, right? Again, front seat looks really good. Little bit of wear right there, but family, there's no way you're going to use this vehicle and not put some wear on these bolstered edges of the sport seats, right? But nothing nothing unacceptable, okay? By far, okay? Carbon fiber top on this one, so right, we're not going to get that pullback shade, but we do get the full Alcantara headliner on this one. Looks like the Mark Levinson sticker not even pulled off on that bad boy, right? Again, you know, not even touched in the back. Very clean around the mechanics here. And again, I know some of you guys who are like, why does he keep talking about, you know what I'm saying, the materials here, right? Family, sometimes people just jump in here, and it's sadly enough, it can sometimes even be the detailers at some of these prestigious dealers as well, but they jump in here and they might use an abrasive rag or an abrasive, you know, solution. And sadly enough, it will scratch this stuff. I mean, I've seen it. I was actually going to pull out a picture and show you guys of a vehicle that's on the market right now. I didn't get a chance to do so, but you can heavily see the scratches on this one. Not on this particular one, but on the other one I was going to show you, right? And some of that stuff, while I don't know if we have an opportunity to do a very, very, very low grit sand to get some of those scratches out, but if you did, that's still something that you'd have to approach. And I just never like to have to do stuff like that at a price point like this, right? Now, here it is right here, family. 13,873 miles on this amazing opportunity, right? These wheels, aluminum wheels, look to be polished as well. Okay, which again, right, process that number one you got to do, and then number two, they just typically cost a bit money to do that too, right? Let me get back over here at the picture while we go through the deets, right? 13,755 miles on a performance package for $65,999. Now, when we get down here to the deets, right, we are going to see one little hiccup right here that, you know, could be allowing us to get a better entry point on the price on this one, and that's one accident. Love the two owners on this one, obviously 13,000 miles, right? These both owners babied them. But let's take a quick look at the Carfax to kind of see and get a little bit better understanding, right? Jumped out here at the dealership, guys. This is Lexus of Saramont, right? I believe that's California. Yes, it is. Love the fact that they've got this one on the showroom floor. Hopefully that's exactly where, if you go to look at this one, you're going to see it at, because again, you're going to be able to see and experience this vehicle in its best state. And that's always nice when you're dropping north of $65,000 for a vehicle, okay? All right, here you can also get a great opportunity at this Carfax, which is showing a great value on this vehicle. Let me jump back over here to the algorithm for Car Guru, right? Showing to be $4,700 below market. And let me just think for a moment before I give my my approval on this one. Yeah, guys, I got to co-sign that, okay? Now, you know, when we think back into fourth quarter of last year, we were absolutely starting to see a tick up in prices, and we were showing some really solid opportunities in the mid 60s, okay? But this one is a performance package that has super low miles. I mean, 13,000 miles, and we haven't talked about it, but this one's L certified, and it's the only one that's L certified that we get a chance to talk about. So guys, I do get an opportunity to go into my rant, although I will make it a little bit quicker this evening. Okay, jumping into the Carfax on this one, guys, right? We've got that one, we got two owners on this one. We do have that one accident. We can tell right here that the first owner took delivery of this one in July of 2017, put about 4,000 miles on it, and then traded it in for something over at the Jaguar Land Rover San Jose location. Okay. Second owner picks this up in November of 2018 and then had it for about 3 years, and then we see damage reported. Good news is that's minor damage. Okay. And then here's the other thing I always look for too. Not that you can't imply too much on this, but I always look at it as an indicator, right? Whenever an accident occurs, how long does the owner remain in ownership of the vehicle before they sell it? When we look at this one, right, the owner actually had it 3 years before the accident happened and had it another 3 years after the accident happened, right? Again, I don't want to infer too much, but sometimes what that tells us is that, listen, whatever the damage was to this vehicle, it wasn't enough damage for them to lose the emotional connection with the car, right? And sometimes the visual, right, connection with the car. And I think that's important, right? It might be looking too much into it, but I mean, let's face it. I've heard stories and I've had friends who have had amazing vehicles. They got into an accident and for whatever reason, they were just never the same, right? They just couldn't feel as good about the vehicle. It didn't feel as exclusive. And so guess what? You know what? They ended up selling it, turning around and selling it, right? That's not the case with this vehicle. Owner had it for another 3 years, albeit, right, they didn't put a lot of miles on this car, right? Sitting in California, maybe this was just something to cruise down the strip or just enjoy a Sunday ride every now and then. Comes up for sale here in the top of the month, right? And it's at Lexus of Saramont in California. So been a California car all the way from inception. And you know what? I like to see that as well, okay? So family, what we don't see is we don't get to see the maintenance records on this one. But I would assume that, and let me see, who sold this one? Doesn't tell us the actual dealership that sold this one, but the fact that it was sold out in California, stayed out in California, I would imagine if we use our strategy that we've communicated several times in the past, that just call out the dealership, give them that VIN number and say, hey guys, what can you tell me from a record service history on this vehicle? More than likely, they're going to probably pull up several services on this one because while it's got low miles on it, it's still 6-7 years old. And so I'm assuming that these folks absolutely took it into the dealership just to get those fluids renewed and potentially to even put on a new set of tires, just for comfort's sake. Okay. All right, but if you are looking, family, for a tremendous low mileage 2018 that checks all the boxes, in my opinion, right? I mean, we've got a great value on this one at $65,000. I still think that, listen, if there's an opportunity for you to come out here and wheel and deal, once you look at that certified sheet, right, which is going to tell you what the brakes are measuring at, it's going to tell you how much tread is left on all these tires, right? If you have an opportunity to get out of paying any of those dealer fees, right, I think you absolutely take advantage of those. But family, mid $60,000 vehicle here, 13,000 miles, which let's face it, 7 years later is just hard to find a 13,000 mileage vehicle. The fact that this is coming with the L certification, right, which gives us the next 20,000 miles of coverage, which is going to get you up to that 33,000 miles, which includes the 30,000 mile service, which is going to ensure that you get all of your fluids and that brake flush done for you. Also comes with that bumper to bumper warranty, right? So, which is nice to have since this does have an accident reported on it. Guys, you don't have to worry about anything for the next 2 years on this one, especially if it's related to the manufacturer build, right? Nothing to worry about. If you happen to hear a noise or whatever the case may be, you absolutely can partner back with your dealership to see how you can rectify that. But guys, I think we got a tremendous opportunity here for somebody that's got a little bit more money in their budget and they want to get something that has this color scheme to it, but the luxury of low miles as well as a certification mean no out-of-pocket price on this one. Again, gonna save you $2,000 right there. So, in effect, this vehicle could very well be a $63,999 vehicle. And you also get that bumper-to-bumper warranty, which is at least another $2,000, dropping this one to a $61,999 vehicle. Those are the things you got to take into consideration when you're picking up something that's coming with a couple of those specs that we might not get an opportunity to take advantage of if it's not a Lexus dealership.